Peace and blessings to my empowerment tribe. Now, family, I don't expect a whole lot of people in this live. I actually forgot to give earlier notice, and that's my bad. That will not happen again, though, as I planned the next 12 sessions already. So next time we're going to be right and exact with it. I definitely want to greet those of you watching live, those who will watch the later recorded version. My name is Brother Agyei Tyehimba, and I want to welcome you to the first episode of the WUCUSU Lounge. I want to just remind those who don't know what WUCUSU means. It's an acronym for the three-part call Brother Malcolm gave us, Brother Malcolm X. He said, when asked what black people should do, he very simply and concisely, very important, said, wake up, clean up, and stand up. Gather consciousness, know who we are, connected to Africa, right? Who we are as individuals, whose we are as individuals. Clean up to be self-corrective, not to go through life thinking our ish don't stink, right? That no, as much work as we do, as clean as we are, as much as we've done, as much as we know, we still got learning to go, and to give others the same grace we expect them to, to give us, right? Not to be judgmental of others, because we know we still got a lot of cleanup to do. So it's all of that, and then the last part is stand up, which now is talking about taking this knowledge and consciousness, taking that self-corrective position. Now you have replaced negative, toxic, self-defeating habits with positive, uplifting habits. You are presumably a better person and therefore a better instrument of change and empowerment in your community. So now with stand-up phase, what do? We exert leadership in our homes, in our communities, and in our organizations, right? Of course, because this channel is not political like Harlem Liberation School, this is talking less about all the people and more about us as individuals, because organizations make movements, but both of those are composed of individuals. So if we want homes to be better, relationships to be better, communities to be better, organizations to be better, and this entire nation and world to be better, as we fight the power, we also need to make sure that we're fighting demons and low vibrational energies in ourselves, right? So I have Harlem Liberation Schools for the overtly political, and this particular broadcast, this whole channel, in fact, WUCUSU Empowerment, is really to speak to the things we must do as individuals to be our highest selves and to be operating on all cylinders and to be our maximum at all times. And it's a never-ending journey, which is what I like about it, actually. It means that you can do this all the way to your dying breath. You never should be retiring from self-empowerment. Anyone that tells you they got it all figured out, you know for a fact that they are lying or they are severely misinformed. So I want to thank you. And I want to tell you that this WUCUSU, this Wake Up, Clean Up, Stand Up, is central, not just to this particular channel, not just to Harlem Liberation School, but to my life. I've always seen this idea, not always, but as I started reading and gaining consciousness, I started thinking, Malcolm is right. You can't do anything if you don't know anything. You can't give nobody what you don't have, at least not authentically. You can mimic and copy, but you can't authentically give what you don't have. So first we got to get something, knowledge of self, right? Consciousness, awareness of who we are and whose we are and where we come from, right? And then we have to be self-corrective, always. One thing I look at athletes, they're always, no matter how fast they are in track and field, no matter how many points they score in the NBA, no matter how well they sing and how many hits they have, they are constantly in that studio. This is powerful. They're constantly in practice. Go to YouTube and study the Black Mamba, Kobe Bryant. Go look at Beyonce. Go look at Jay-Z. Go look at Kendrick Lamar. Their work ethic is off the chain because they understand, as dope as I am, I could be better. And most empowered people want to see, I'm pretty good at that. I'm fair at this. I struggle with that. What will I look like when I'm clicking on all cylinders? I'm still seeking that myself. So this WUCUSU Lounge is a virtual empowerment space where we're going to explore strategies. We're going to have informative conversations about all things self-empowerment. So that's a wide wide brush we dealing with, family. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. And more importantly, as we have these discussions, why I think that this broadcast and this channel are important is because people intuitively know I'm mucking up. My money, I'm mucking up over here, my job, whatever it is. My body's getting out of shape. I'm getting pains and aches. They intuitively know I got to do something. But many times we don't know where to begin. We don't know, well, how I have a lot of rage. I have anger management problems. I blow up at the slightest thing, or I hold everything in so I don't offend nobody. Okay, how do I address that? So what we're going to do here, particularly with this particular broadcast, the WUCUSU Lounge, is we're going to give strategies that are proven. I didn't make these up, not all of them. These are proven strategies. Also, going to have mixed with some personal stories and give you some tools to kind of help you unlock and maximize your potential. Now, the format, remember, this is an introductory broadcast, family. We're not doing a lot of tools and all that today. I'll give you a sense of where we're coming from and why I'm doing this. The broadcasts are going to be a mix of, sometimes I'll be giving coaching tips because I'm an empowerment coach now, and I take that very seriously. You have no idea how many hours I've been spending reading and reflecting and journaling and doing a lot of things, you know, to prepare myself as best as possible. But I think that the many years I spent doing what I've done, I'll get into that a little later, has prepared me more than any book or certification program could possibly. Well, we're going to talk about Q&As. There'll be times when the AAA sessions, Ask Agyei Anything, we're going to talk about, you know, different things. I'll be coaching right on the spot right there. You'll come to those sessions. You may have something specific that you don't mind everybody knowing about because it's public, and I'll address these things. Sometimes I'm going to share books that I've been reading, that I've read in the past that help people better understand their personality type, the things that trigger them, strategies for dealing with being triggered, and also getting rid of this Western concept that your bad qualities should be dismissed. In the Eastern world, our people and others understood that what people dismiss as your bad, you're angry, you're competitive, whatever your thing is, they call those shadow qualities. And guess what? Those qualities are great qualities turned inside out. They become superpowers, right? If you embrace, these are things about me that this is me. And I can lie and I can deny it and act like I'm all perfect, but I know these 3 things I got to work on, right? Those are your shadow things. The problem is most people keep those things in the shadow. What we want to do with this show, we're going to have shows where we do shadow work. We talk about, we don't want to hear all the pretty stuff. We don't want your resume. We give all your pretty stuff. We want to know the stuff about you that stinks, that gets in your way of forward motion, that people talking about you behind your back, right? We want to know that stuff. So, because once you embrace it and acknowledge it, admit it, now you see, how can I turn this inside out to make it a superpower that works for me? That's the African way, by the way. I should say that, of course, anything I do will always be specifically targeted to Black folk. Now, that is not to say that other people may not, get up in the channel and see some of these, and they may say, wow, I read that book or went to this lecture or saw this, and I learned something, because truth is truth, family, and truth is universal. The laws of gravity apply to every man, woman, and child. Trust and notice. As do the laws of attraction, the laws of assumption. We can go on and on. So these are some of the things we're going to be talking about. Sometimes I'll have special guests that will add to our empowerment discussion, right? I think it's fair that you know why I decided to become an empowerment coach. And I'm going to say that's a really long story. It's like if you're at a date and someone says, tell me about yourself. Where do you begin? Where do you end? But I'm going to try to do this in 6 to 8 minutes. I'm going to say this. I got to go to the beginning. I grew up in Harlem in the 80s. And that meant that I had to navigate a landscape that was often marked by drugs and violence, prostitution, gunplay, all types of stuff. And also some of our schools that weren't teaching right, some of our supermarkets that wasn't selling quality food, or not certainly at a good affordable price. We dealt with a lot of things growing up in the 80s. If you grew up in the 90s or 2000s, you had a whole different experience from those of us who grew up in the 80s. Trust and know that. But within this challenging desert, you might call it, I found and discovered pockets of oases, watering holes, if you will. Liberation Bookstore, owned by Sister Una Mozak, rest in power to her. She became a great teacher and Jegna of mine. Took me in, gave me free books, schooled me on the history of the books. And her father was an actual steamship captain of one of Marcus Garvey's ships. So also 125th Street, talking to those, but not just buying books as a young man, saving up my little money, but having these really long conversations with them. And then you find out this guy isn't just a guy selling books. He was in the UNIA, or he was in the Republic of New Africa, or he was or is in the Nation of Islam. So that was a whole university, that whole strip, going from maybe 8th Avenue all the way to 5th Avenue, right? And then you had First World Alliance, that I was I'm going to say middle and high school when I started going there. And guess what? It was a 2-minute walk from my house, literally 2 blocks away. And it was in the church connected to my elementary school that I attended, you know? So I got to really hear some powerful people, people like John Hurt Clark, remember Annie, when she was Donna Richards, Frances Cress Welsing, and Amos Wilson, and so many of our greatest Black intellectuals and I would say scholar activists. And of course, before I even did all this, I got it. I was blessed, and I do not take this for granted. I was blessed to get it from home. My consciousness did not come from a school, an outside person, or whatever. It started in my home with my father. May he rest in power and peace, who would tell me stories of actually being in 116th Street or 125th Street, and actually hearing Malcolm speak directly, and how exciting he was, and how he had this powerful points he made, and how he took complex ideas and broke them down. So, and little books I would read. So I was reading at a really young age, and I was kind of a bibliophile. I still am. Just soak them up. Just, one after the other. And he had a small library of what we would today call Africana study type books. Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, all types of autobiography of Malcolm X, Malcolm X Speaks, all types of stuff. So that's where I got my foundation in terms of consciousness. Now, all of this now leads me, now in 1986, I leave Harlem, I go off to Syracuse University. Now, I have all the foundational stuff I need to, I guess you would say, be meaningfully involved in student activism. I've been reading this stuff, absorbing this stuff for years prior to me now going to Syracuse University. And it just so happens that my first day there, official first day of school, the Student African American Society is having a big protest. Man, I felt like I was a kid in a candy store, family. I don't know if you ever, if you ever just, like, you're reading about it, you're watching documentaries, I'm going to the library every other day, doing my research, talking to my dad, talking to my grandparents, asking anybody who could tell me what was it like for Black people, what did we go through, what did you go through, how did we fight back? And now I'm in a perfect battlefield called Syracuse University. And I became president of the Student African American Society in the late 80s. I took every single African American studies class I could, right? I guess, and also as the president of the Student African American Society, which was our Black student union, I opened up. I gave the opening speech for all of our great speakers, and we had many. Minister Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, Susan Taylor, Sister Soldier. Oh my gosh, I can go on and on. Nikki Giovanni, So many power, Kwame Ture, and so many people, movers and shakers, activists, scholars, intellectuals, creatives. And that was a whole nother education outside of my sociology that I was formerly majoring in. That was a whole nother education, and probably in many ways a lot more important to my life's work, right? Now, because I'm opening up for these people, you go to the airport, I'm picking up Dr. Khalid Muhammad. We're driving him back. We get him in his hotel. We give him an itinerary. Tomorrow we're going to come back and get you, Dr. Khalid, and we're going to go over here and you're going to give your speech. And we're giving people their check. Back then, yes, family, for those who don't know, they actually had physical checks. Wasn't doing Cash App back then. So, of course, you get to know these people somewhat, right? And so some of these people I opened up for at Syracuse, I developed actual ongoing relationships with. So like a minister, Louis Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid Muhammad, and to some degree, Brother Kwame Ture and others. Gil Noble, who you may know from the famous show he did, Like It Is. From there now, family, so now I'm pumped up. I got the Harlem political education and knowledge of self, and the knowledge given from my family. I go to Syracuse, I now have that activism, because we gave Syracuse University hell, turned it inside out, upside down, and created millions of dollars in reforms there. They had to refurbish the whole department, put an elevator in, all types of things. New library, or hire new people, a new community folk art gallery. So I now had the experience of the scholarship, but for the first time fused with hardcore community organizing and activism. Because we also didn't just stay on campus, family. We were in that Syracuse community deep. If anybody that knows me, you ask them, they'll tell you, deep. We was with the drug dealers. We was with the people that was doing wrong. We knew where they were. In the community centers, we was at the high schools, recruiting high school students and bringing them to campus so we could educate them, so they can get a kind of at least a grassroots political education. So now I go off to grad school at Cornell University, where I was recruited personally by the person who become my greatest Jegna, probably outside of my father. His name is Dr. James Turner. May he rest in power and peace. He's the founding director of the Africana Studies and Research Center at Cornell, a man that those in the movement, particularly who are older, know a lot about. Actually coined the term Africana Studies and is considered one of its intellectual architects, the person that said, this is what we study. And Africana said, this is the purpose, this is our scope, this is our objective. And the built-in objective of Africana Studies and Black Studies, as you may or may not know, which was unlike any academic department prior to it, was we don't just study to get grades here. We don't just seek knowledge for knowledge's sake. We seek knowledge to go out and weaponize that knowledge, to defend our people, to fight our enemies, to build independent Black institutions. And you will note that people that come out of Africana Studies that are true to the spirit of it are doing all those things. They build institutions in the community. They're standing up. They're fighting for people, advocating, and teaching the people. I'm very proud of this legacy, to be part of something that great Black people before me created. Now, so my career path takes me through these various forms of community service. I become a social studies teacher in New York City public schools, right? Eventually a community organizer. I'm now a content creator. I'm now an empowerment coach, whatever. But in all these spaces, a few things were central. I studied relentlessly. I participated in various acts of Black resistance, and in some cases conceived them and led them. And I organized along brilliant and beautiful Black people, family. I was blessed with extraordinary teachers, and I found myself in positions now to teach and empower people myself to give what I had received. And I felt blessed to be, and I still feel blessed to be in that position. I'm very humbled when somebody says, oh man, I read your book, it changed my life, or I love that video, I didn't think of it that way. I'm like, wow, I'm kind of being like a Dr. Turner was for me. And that's a very humbling and touching thing for me. So I found myself in positions to teach, empower countless students, parents, community members, leaders over the years. And in all those experiences, family, a lot of them would ask me questions. Parents would ask me, My kid is acting up. He's not doing homework. He's not being truthful. He's doing this. He's getting in fights. What can I do? Often crying, boo-hoo crying. Sometimes and this was often mothers. Sometimes the fathers would come in with similar issues. They do the sports. They're not doing academics. I'm concerned, right? Sometimes the teachers would come and say, Mr. T, I can't, this kid in this class, I don't get it. And they don't seem to act up in your class. What's going on? Right? Or community lead. So all this time, I'm in a formal position of advising people who are coming to me asking me. I'm not going to them saying, you should do this. They're coming to me, and I'm kind of feeling a little awkward because I'm like, I know education, I know Black studies. I don't know if I want to get into that stuff, but that's what it is, right? When God gives you a mission, you follow the mission. But now in my 50s, 57, family, I'm turning that corner towards 60, God willing. I reflect on Brother Malcolm's call to action: wake up, clean up, and stand up. I reflect on Sister Asada Shakur, who wrote, it's not enough just to change the system, we must change ourselves. I read and reflect on one of our great warriors, Sister Sophia Bakari, who noted that picking up the gun for those who advocated that was the easy part. The difficult part is the day-to-day organizing, educating, and showing the people by example what needs to be done to create a new society. The breadth of her vision is very powerful there. She's reminding us we're not just doing this because I'm a nationalist and you're a cultural nationalist and you're a feminist and you're whatever you are. The goal is a vision to create a better world. Not just to say I can quote Malcolm better than you and I wear the best dashiki, family. The goal of all those great giants that some of whom I met and I referenced so far was to create a better world. Many of them saw it as a better world for Black people, but ultimately, if you are creating a better situation for the people who are the most despised and rejected, guess what you do automatically? You make the world better for everybody else. This is why Latinos, women, LGBT, and Asians, all types of people studied what we did and built in our blueprint of civil rights activism, of nationalism. You can see it in their chants at their protests. You can see it in the signs, "We shall overcome," right? You can see it in their references, right? So we've always been those people that kind of led that, and other people got to say, wow, they could do it, we could do it. Okay, so when I reviewed my past activities, the different areas of study, education, sociology, social psychology, and Africana studies, my experiences in the movement, some very fulfilling, some very unpleasant and negative, right? I had to note that while some of us have heeded Malcolm's call of waking up and have acquired great knowledge and great consciousness, so to speak, we see so many pockets of questionable character. And I want to be clear, I'm not talking about these are things you don't like about somebody. These are things that annoy you. These are things you wish weren't there. I'm talking about stealing from the community and the organization. I'm talking about making promises you know full well you're not going to keep, and you never keep, and you still going to people for money. I'm talking about you being married and you're sleeping with all the women in the organization, or running a church and doing the same. I'm talking about serious character issues, family. Although these people some of them may have great knowledge and have done great things politically, there's still this gulf between this knowledge and consciousness and experience politically and this kind of idea that I have to be responsible for my actions, for what I say and how I say it. I can't take the position, I don't care what I say, how I do it. No, we got to change that. We got to, because how you speak to people, how you treat people affects them. And if it's negative, it affects them negatively. And then they go on to negatively affect other people, and they go on, and the cycle continues, right? So I noticed that we have many people in our movement who have great intentions and have pretty good character, but yet they struggle with issues of fear. They're late all the time. They're feeling deeply insecure. They feel like I gotta people please and agree with everybody because they don't want to rock the boat. Or when they challenge people when they challenge people legitimately, they may not have the tools to do that effectively. Or they have problems with joining cliques, or they got problems with being competitive and jealous with the next man or woman who's a brilliant speaker, brilliant writer, great leader, whatever, director, whatever, right? Or they have a problem with, they come with ideas but don't know how to set this goal, make it manageable, give it a time frame and a structure, and complete it in a timely fashion. I've seen this all my life, starting as a young man. People on the block, on my grandmother's block, wherever block I was on, they'd be like, wow, I just talked to him. This person is so deep. I would tell my father, did you know Miss or Mr. So-and-so? He may have or not have known him. I said, man, they're so full of knowledge, Dad. They told me they did ABC. I said, so I wonder, why aren't they? I would have thought they would be doing ABC. He said, well, first of all, we don't know what happened to them. And he said, some people have the will, but they may not have the ability. They may not know how to execute a certain thing. That doesn't make people dumb. That's just a issue of something you don't know. We're all ignorant, right, to something. So I don't know a damn thing about architecture. What about you? Or too much about engineering. What about you? So we all, there's so much knowledge we couldn't possibly know a fingernail's worth of it. But I realize we got some real challenges here that no one is addressing. And so I will say that for me, moving into this new sphere in a way not so new of being an empowerment coach, it combines the best of what I've done in the past, what I've studied, my interests, and what I appear to be talented at. It incorporates all of those things, and for the people I love and want to serve and help to better in some measurable way, right? So that's kind of why I got into empowerment coaching. I think that it provides the latitude for me to use all these skills, observations, past experiences, knowledge, and my interests and the people I love in one thing. I'm really blessed that I'm living at a time where we have such a thing as an empowerment coach or a life coach. We've heard fitness. There's all types of coaches. I wanted to give a kind of a sneak peek. Let me take a break. Actually, I see comments, and I see my lovely queen, my lovely queen Brenda. She says, WUCUSU, wake up, clean up, stand up. She says, this is important work. Thank you. I appreciate that. Sister AC with Ursula. Peace, good sister. She says, good evening, WUCUSU to the fam. Me and the queen still got to meet with you. That's right. We got to meet with you about the EBOOKS. The queen says, congratulations on launching the WUCUSU Lounge. Thank you. And Sister Ursula is greeting Queen Brenda. So I just wanted to make sure that I don't just run my mouth and not acknowledge the very important comments. I wanted to, I think I covered most of the things I wanted to cover. I wanted to kind of give you a sneak peek into some of the upcoming broadcasts. We're going to have a lot of good things coming on. We're going to be talking about overcoming fear. We're going to be talking about visualization, and we're going to actually go through it, an actual exercise that I hope people watching will do with me so that you understand when we say visualization, what it means, what it looks like, what you should be experiencing to know that you're doing it correctly, so to speak. We're going to have some Q&A nights. I'm going to be discussing this. See, this is a lot of stuff I've done, so it works perfectly. I don't know what I'm going to call it, but often I see movies and I hear songs, and I just like that. I'll be like, that Lion King. There's a deeper message in that, and I'll decode it. The Wizard of Oz. There's a deeper message that speaks to us in that, and I'll decode it. So I'm going to be looking at some movies and some songs, and we're going to be breaking them down, family, and looking at what empowerment lessons can we derive from some of the music, from some of the movies and things of that nature. So family, that is essentially it. I want to just say this. I want to invite everyone to subscribe to this channel. I'm growing this channel. It's only like 163 people. It was another channel by my name. I did nothing with it. And I said, you know what? Nah, I'm going to do something with this channel. So this channel will be my direct channel for my empowerment coaching business. And I'm going to tell you, family, not to be cocky or arrogant, this coaching is going to change your life. That is a fact. I know that from prior experience. I know that from prior experience that it has the power to change our lives. If we take it, it's just like you got the best teacher, you don't listen, whatever, you don't do the lessons. You know how that go, right? Y'all been to school, you know what I'm talking about. So if you take it seriously and you commit to it, which means you do these things, you don't feel like you do it when you're tired, you do it when you're thirsty and hungry, you stay on it. Universal law, and we're going to get into all of that because there's going to be some quasi African-centered spirituality on this channel as well. This ain't the white self-empowerment family that you the Tony Roberts. Nah, we're not doing that. This is gonna have an African-centered flavor to it because I'm talking to our people, right? So I want you all to please subscribe if you haven't already. Please spread the word if you found this interesting at all. And when you heard the introductory thing, why I became a coach, what we're going to do with this broadcast, please spread the word. Encourage others to subscribe as well. And we're going to be doing this every week, Mondays at 7 p.m. It'll be roughly 30 minutes. I went a little over, but it will never be over, really long. I want these to be right to the point so you could eat your dinner, kiss your boo, and this won't get in the way of that sort of thing. I just want to thank you all for being part of this first broadcast. And family, I just want to say the road and the path to our personal empowerment, I'm not talking collectively, you as an individual, will always be composed of at least these three key things. We must wake up, we must clean up, and we must stand up. With that said, family, thank you so much. WUCUSU, and I hope to see you next Monday. We're also going to be uploading videos as well. We have some shorts and other things that you'll see throughout the week, but this will be every Monday, and then I'll have a special thing that'll be once a month. We'll get into it in the next episode. Thank you so much, family. Peace and blessings.